All right, hello and welcome to today's Partner Spotlight with Scailable. Today we'll be talking about enabling Edge AI deployments at scale and talking a little bit about how we can bring some of those AI workloads to your edge devices. So let's jump into it. Let's start with a little bit around ZEDEDA. So ZEDEDA is an edge orchestration and management provider. We service customers like you see on the slide here, often in environments outside your data center. So think about running workloads on gateways or servers running in a retail shop, oil rig, in vehicles, embedded in machines. These are the environments where ZEDEDA really thrives. And what we do is we allow our customers not just to run a single application, but to run a full outcome. And that can mean a legacy application running next to a modern application, often using data to extract insight through either AI or inference, driving really outcomes in these remote regions. That's really our focus. And as a company, we've been around for about 6 years. Our offering is spread out across really these three areas. And today we're going to talk a lot about that global marketplace and how we can bring solutions to people. But before we jump into that, I want to give you a quick overview of how it works. So fundamentally, ZEDEDA installs on commodity hardware. We can run on anything as small as a Raspberry Pi all the way up to a really beefy Xeon style server. We support all the popular manufacturers and work really closely with them to enable Eve, our edge operating system, to run on top of that hardware. And then through the combination of the ZEDEDA cloud, where you set your state and upload your applications, and Eve, our open source operating system, we allow you to orchestrate those workloads. And those workloads come in the form of that global marketplace. So we've been working really closely with vendors like Scailable to qualify their software. We do deep technical integrations. We make sure it works. We put it into our global marketplace, and it makes it really easy for our customers to go ahead and deploy that software to one or even thousands or tens of thousands of different locations. From an architecture, it looks a little bit like this. So we have Eve running on those individual hardware nodes. It includes an embedded hypervisor that allows you to run all these different workloads on top and build these solutions around AI, and then connects via an API to a SaaS controller, or the ZEDEDA cloud, as we call it. This is a SaaS offering that we operate on behalf of our customers and allows them to really orchestrate those workloads across all those different nodes. So that's really what ZEDEDA's business is about bringing those workloads to remote nodes. But more than workloads, we're about sort of enabling outcomes. And we've been working in the AI space for a number of years with our customers. Largely, their AI has been kind of roll your own or bring your own, where they're sort of doing custom models. They're working with their data scientists and bringing it to the field. But more recently, with all the interest in AI, we're starting to see more standardization and actually great products like we're going to talk about Scailable today that make that a lot easier for our customers. But when we look at Edge AI, we really try and simplify it down into this really simple equation, which is you have to capture and format the data. Data is key to AI. It needs to feed your models, whether it be feeding into the cloud for your large language model or doing inference on data coming off machines. Data is an important component on it. The second piece is really deploying and managing the model itself, right? These models aren't static. They need to be retrained. They need to be updated. Your data scientists need feedback on how they're working so they can adjust them accordingly and push new models down. So it's not a one-time event. It's really a true workflow where you're managing these models over time in concert with the data itself. And then the combination of those two are your outcome. Your desired outcome is to take action. It could be a predictive maintenance. It could be many different types of actions, but fundamentally you're bringing data and AI to do that. And at ZEDEDA, we really partner for that full environment, right? So we have sort of deep partnerships with a lot of data providers, everything in the OT space. If you're thinking about legacy protocols coming off systems or robots or your factory line, all the way to modern stacks with time series databases that are pulling data and reformatting it and making it available to different models. And then in that middle section today, we're going to talk a lot about Scailable. They have a great solution for deploying and managing that AI model, sort of decoupled from the data, allows you to use the tools you're used to, but really run it on commodity hardware and save a lot of money around hardware and deal with some of the complexities you see on the edge. And then once that AI is run, there's generally an output, right? And that output can come in the way of a ServiceNow ticket. It can come through network optics. Node-RED notification. There are lots of different outputs on that. But fundamentally, you need to take action when the AI tells you it needs to take action. And we have a great partner ecosystem around that as well. So this combination, this simple equation, we've been rolling out to customers and helping them deploy AI in the field. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about how Scailable can really power that. So with that, we've built, a bit of a reference architecture, and I'm going to invite Wim into our conversation here. Hey, Wim. Wim's from Scailable team. And, we'll go through this architecture, but fundamentally, this is really an example for computer vision, right? So our input on this slide is those cameras you see in the upper right-hand corner. These can be sort of standard cameras or IP cameras, and they're sort of feeding data into a system that Scailable is helping manage from the AI perspective. And then underneath all of that is, ZEDEDA and EVOS. So in this example, we'd be orchestrating not only the Scailable runtime, but also some of the outputs we talked about, or the take action outputs. So you see Node-RED and network optics in there. And then lastly, we often see legacy workloads running alongside of this. So this could be perhaps a legacy a camera management system or a point of sale system in a retail store, something to that effect. And Eve is really at the bottom of that, orchestrating all of that with the ZEDEDA cloud. But let me let Wim jump in here and talk a little bit about how the AI pipeline works and how Scailable makes that super easy to manage.
Thanks, Maxi, for the opportunity. So indeed, our goal with Scailable is making AI solution development and deployment extremely easy. And with ZEDEDA, we're making this very simple, as we've now made our Scailable solution available in the ZEDEDA market space. So Scailable software can now be deployed from the market space directly to ZEDEDA Edge node, as you see in the center here. I said you can connect to any camera or any other type of sensor. We also support, obviously, industrial use cases where you might have vibration sensor, temperature, audio, and so forth. But most of the cases will have computer vision and cameras here. And so the way this works is with the Scailable software deployed on the ZEDEDA Edge node, you can upload any trained AI model that you've trained with any training platform, whether this is TensorFlow, PyTorch, Edge Impulse, or any platform that could export an ONNX. You can upload that model in our Scailable cloud. In our Scailable cloud, we will optimize that model for the target hardware, and target hardware, that is the relation of the target CPU and potentially the AI accelerator there, GPU, and so forth. We'll optimize that model to run on that Edge AI hardware. We will build a complete pipeline out of that with the pre-processing of the video included, also with the post-processing to connect us to certain applications and outcomes. And then from the Scailable cloud, we can deploy these AI models to your fleet of Edge node devices. So whether it is tens, hundreds, thousands of devices, we make it extremely simple to deploy your AI models across your fleet of devices. So maybe if you look at the next slide, Maxi. So our Scailable software, in essence, is a toolkit for building AI pipelines very easily and efficiently. So you see this in the center here of the slide. It runs now natively as an application on the ZEDEDA Eve operating system. Can be deployed from the ZEDEDA market space. As you see there at the left, we built a full pipeline with input connectors for IP cameras, industrial cameras, or any other type of sensors. And at the right-hand side, we have connectors to connect to many applications to achieve the desired outcome. So we have deep integration, for instance, with network optics, with Node-RED, and we have API-driven integrations through socket or to any REST cloud endpoint. So a lot of flexibility there to build total AI solutions. So in this pipeline, we will load your model trained in TensorFlow, PyTorch, Edge Impulse, or any other platform. Or also, as you log into the Scailable cloud, you will see that there's more than 50 models pre-trained and available for you to deploy as you wish. And at the bottom, you see there that we support a whole range of hardware on a whole range of OEM devices. And that is important because a lot of AI accelerators are out there. What Scailable does is allow you to deploy any of your trained AI models over a heterogeneous fleet of devices, independent of the accelerator running that. So why is that all important? If we move to the next slide, first thing is that what we see currently, if you have an AI solution and you have trained an AI model to deliver a certain outcome, then typically there is still a long engineering process after having trained that model to get that model running on an edge device. Typically, hardware engineering needs to select the hardware, refactor the model to fit the specific specifications of that edge device. Then a pipeline needs to be developed, meaning you need to decode the video, you need to pre-process, rescale video, and so forth. And then at the end of months of engineering work, you now have one model that runs on one specific edge device. With Scailable, we largely simplify this. As you see here at the bottom, with Scailable, your data scientist will train an AI model, and then literally within hours, you can deploy this through the Scailable runtime on the ZEDEDA edge device. So we eliminate months of engineering work and obviously months of cost associated with this AI solution development. Furthermore, on the next slide, we also decouple the tasks. So model training is typically something that's done by the data scientist, and this is an iterative process. So data scientists will train the model, deploy the model, gather more data, optimize the model, and then iterate over that. And so whenever they have a new model available, ideally they can deploy this to the fleet of edge devices. Without Scailable, there is still what we talked about in the previous slide, that there is still some engineering work required to make the deployment happen. With Scailable, we allow data scientists, whenever they have trained a new model, to immediately deploy this to the edge device. And in parallel, we will allow the engineering team to follow the edge device hardware roadmaps. The engineering team can at any point decide to upgrade to newer edge devices, or maybe to consider newer AI accelerator chips. These edge devices are added to the fleet, and with Scailable, we will make sure that any trained AI model can run on any device architecture in the edge. So those are the two key benefits here. If we move to the next slide, there's still some additional points that we can talk about. One is performance. Scailable runs AI natively on the hardware, which means that there is no performance degradation, so to say, by installing Scailable. We on each and every of the hardware architectures will make sure that the most efficient pipeline is deployed for that hardware. So it will run at the same rate, or sometimes even better, as the recommended software infrastructures from the specific hardware vendors. Scailable also allows you to manage your fleet of devices over the air, which means that you can deploy models at wish anytime over large fleets of edge devices. And this all works very securely. ZEDEDA has a huge benefit of secure edge device management. Scailable adds to that. Basically, your models will run in a sandboxed environment on the edge device, which makes it impossible to tamper with the models as they're deployed and as they're running their inferences on those edge devices. Scailable platform is very modular set. It's fully API driven, so it allows you to very easily and seamlessly integrate this with your target applications. And the end goal of all of this is to make this extremely easy to build and deploy AI solutions for the edge. So this gives the overview of Scailable, as said, now available on the ZEDEDA marketplace for you to download. There is, as you would download and deploy it on the ZEDEDA Edge device, we create an account on the Scailable Cloud, and that will give you a 1-month trial access to try out the Scailable solution. So with that, thanks, Maxi,
Yeah.
for the opportunity, and looking forward to working together.
Yeah, no, great stuff. And I think just a couple points I would highlight is, and you mentioned all of these, but the heterogeneous support, we see that a lot in the edge. Devices aren't identical. It's important that you support all of that, and not requiring GPUs, I think, is a really important point. I mean, obviously they make things go faster, but it's no longer a requirement to have GPUs in every system on every edge node, which I think saves a lot of money and cost. The security story, I mean, obviously it's a big part of our offering, and sort of extending that up through the AI model is really important to our industrial customers. This is their IP, this is their livelihood. So that security story is super important. And then the last thing I think we really bring together is this time to value, right? You talked about sort of shrinking from months to hours. We do similar workflows on the infrastructure side. So I think together there's a lot of synergistic items that can drive a lot of value for our customers. So really appreciate the time today. If you want to learn more, we do have a solution webpage. There's a lot of detail on that page. We can also do demos. We're happy to show it to you, or as Wim suggested, give it a try yourself. Sign up for a ZEDEDA account, sign up for a Scailable account. They're free. You can try it, you can deploy it, you can do AI in hours as described, and let us know how it goes. With that, Wim, really appreciate your time today. Great catching up, and we look forward to our customers giving this a try.
Thanks, Maxi. Thanks for having me.
You bet.